We live. I guess we're live. Did you see live? Yeah, we
Yeah, we're
live.
live. We're
So
live.
we're live. Listen, make it make sense Mondays. Y'all know what it is. We are here. The diaspora is like begging for like connection and dialogue and healing and repair. It's so many things that the diaspora and the continent is begging for. And we got a lot to talk about. We're not going to talk long today. I'm Queen. I'm a host of Black Box Radio. We are a multimedia platform illustrating Black excellence. We do this every Monday with Sell Africa to Africans with Arena. It's very important that we're connecting every Monday, guys. I need you to come in. I need you to like, share, subscribe, this comment. Let's build this space. We haven't seen a lot of faces, and we need your faces in the place. We need your face in the place. We need you to contribute to this conversation and build this space. So, Arena, what you got? Talk to the people.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm your brother Orina. I'm founder of Sell Africa to Africans. I'm a Kenyan Pan-Africanist, and I just love African people. That's why today I really want to talk about uh, uh, this white supremacy powered beef between Africans and African, between continental Africans and African Americans. This I said it in Pan African lifestyle, and I'll keep on saying it again. This is a white supremacy sponsored beef powered by bots and algorithms and AI and tech, all put together to drive confusion and misinformation and divide and conquer amongst our people as the global African race. Do not fall for these things. Divide and conquer has been used for a very long time, since Willie Lynch, and hundreds of years later, we are they're still using the same thing, and it goes to show you that white supremacy is scared of African unity because they know the power of Pan-African unity, because they wouldn't give a damn about us. Like, they wouldn't disrupt our unity, they wouldn't disrupt our synergy if they didn't know the power of Pan-African unity. So don't fall for these traps, please. Don't fall for these traps. This is all white supremacy in form of bots, AI, and tech, and poisoning our black algorithms. They know, Queen. They know the algorithms that black people are in, and then they attack those algorithms with these FBA. And you know what? Today we're not calling it FBA. Today we are calling it FBI, because I'm starting to form. Queen, I'm serious. I'm starting to form suspicions that FBA is a white funded FBA is a white funded group. FBA, it's not FBA, it's FBI. They are being used. They are being used by white supremacy to drive a division between Africans and Africans in the diaspora. Yeah.
I totally agree. I think not only do I agree with that, because I've never seen Europeans use new tactics. They use the same tactics over and over because they work. And this happened during civil rights. This happened throughout the history of Black American, when we, as we call Black Americans, the history of the African American. Whereas whenever we have an organization from the Black Panther Party, even Marcus Garvey, and I mean, every time they put their hands in and find ways to come after us, cause ascension, and even arrest, kill, whatever they have to do. And I think what's going on now, it's a different movement internationally. You look at how Africa is parts of Africa is really looking at Western culture and Western intervention into Africa, and things are changing. And I know France feels it, the US feels it, the European Union feels it. And so the way to kind of kill some of this unification is is to start having dissension between the continent and African Americans. That is, I think is something that they've done before. They're utilizing it again. And we have to be very mindful of the institutions in America are only to keep us apart. Every institution that America has used is to keep us in a place where we're chaotic, we're oppressed, and we're traumatized. And that keeps us fighting. It keeps us in a place where we never build. So we gotta put 10 toes down and keep going forward. We gotta keep going forward. We gotta keep educating ourselves, and we have to have some bonds with Africa. We can't be fighting. The FBA too. There's FBA, but you got the ADOS too. The African descendants of slavery, which I think is the same thing. I don't understand all of these acronyms for Black people in America. We're just African Americans trying to live, and I don't understand all these breakdowns. But it only divides us. Even with religion, they do it through religion too. There's so many ways to divide Black people.
And I'm not only knocking FBA, I'm also knocking the continental Africans who don't want to unite with Africans in the diaspora as well. Just because you were born in Africa, it doesn't mean that you're more African than Africans who are born outside of Africa. They are just as African as you. The problem with some Africans is that they think that some continental Africans think that they have a monopoly of Africa and of Africanity and of African pride. We don't. We as continental Africans don't have the monopoly of Africanity, of Africa, and of African pride. We share it with the African diasporas, whether you like it or not. I'm sick and tired of continental Africans, and I speak to, especially here in Kenya, I speak to a lot of them, saying, "Oh, these guys are not Africans. These guys are not Africans." How will you feel if you were sold from your homeland, and then after 400 years you're trying to come back, and your people here in Africa are telling you you're not from here? It's really bad. I mean, how will you feel if how will you feel if you're chased away from your home? Then or let's say if how will you feel if you're stolen, if you're kidnapped from your home? Then when you try to come back, your parents reject you, your sister rejects you, your brother rejects you, your cousin rejects you. Listen, we as continental Africans don't have a monopoly of Africa and of Africanity and of African pride. This Africa is for us all, is for us all, the global African race. So I'm not only knocking the FBA, I'm also knocking the tribalist continental Africans. We need to unite, guys. Let's keep on playing. Let's keep on playing, and let's see where it will lead us. Let's keep on disuniting. Let's keep on fighting each other. Let's keep on boycotting each other's businesses. Let's keep on doing all these things, and then let's see where it will lead us. We've been fighting white supremacy for 400 years from a divided front. So from a divided front, we've been fighting white supremacy. So African Americans on their own, Africans in the Caribbean on their own, Africans in South America, Africans in Europe, Africans in Asia, in Arabian countries. And by the way, next week, Queen, we need to talk about the trans-Saharan slave trade, and we need to talk about how Africans are suffering and how Africans are being oppressed in Middle East right now, in Saudi Arabia, in Qatar. I know this in Dubai. I know this like the back of my hand, because if there are people who are working in Middle East are Kenyans, East Africans are there, especially women. They are being raped. They're being overworked and underpaid. These agencies, and the government is also complicit, because they're also letting these agencies just sell our girls to any, to these weird ass Arabian people who do crazy things to our women in Saudi Arabia and in Dubai, in Qatar. So, me, if I'm in charge, I will shut down all these agencies and I'll tell Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Dubai, whatever, that if you continue doing this to our women, we we are shutting down travel. Or no, sorry, we are shutting down any work intended reason for anybody to go to the Middle East. No, listen, if you're a Kenyan and you want to work in the Middle East, there's nothing like that. I'll shut down anybody who wants to work in the Middle East and is a Kenyan. I'll shut it down because people are going there to be slaves. Men are going to work there. They are being overworked, underpaid. Let me tell you something before we come back to this topic.
Arabs, they don't want to work. They want people to serve them. They everyone comes in their communities to serve them. Everybody in Africa, Philippines, everywhere comes to the Middle East to work. And because these folks don't work because they have a lot of resources. They get all money. They have a lot of resources. So they have workers from, and people don't know that. They don't know that they have contracts all over the world and they are definitely abusing people. But that's on Ruto. That's on the government. The government should not allow that because these folks don't want to work. They need human capital. You have leverage. How do you let them come in and abuse your women? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I will, if I'm in charge, I will shut down any person who's going to the Middle East to work. Maybe if you're going there to travel and to tour and fine, but working, no. Because people are coming back in body bags. Was it 2023 or 2024? Was it last year or 2 years ago? There was a number that came out. Was it 65 African women found dead in Saudi Arabia? And most women who go there go working. They go work in homes.
Domestics.
As house helps. As nannies. Exactly, as nannies, and as also house helps and all those domestic works, and they're being mistreated. They're not even being given food. No food for you, and they're being beaten. They're being raped. Some of them are coming back in body bags. And the men who are also there, let me tell you something about Qatar. Qatar hosted the World Cup. Do you know that those stadiums that were built for the World Cup, they were built by Africans, they were built by African workers with poor safety conditions, poor safety guidelines? You know how many people who died because of accidents while they were making those big stadiums for the World Cup in 2022? These people don't care, and the government is just sitting here, just laughing with Mohammed bin Salman and all these sheikhs. It's a shame that you can sell your people to slavery. You shouldn't be called even a leader. Why? Those are grounds for impeachment. If you can sell your people to slavery, and you know very well that this is what's happening. There's video footage. There's even video footage of a Kenyan. Was it Kenyan or Tanzania? Let me say, there's video footage of an East African woman working in somewhere in Middle East. I think it was Saudi Arabia, and she was forced to breastfeed puppies. I'm not even kidding. It happened. She was forced to breastfeed puppies, baby dogs. And you call yourself a president, while you know those things are happening. Why are you sending people to Saudi Arabia to be slaves? Shut it down. If you're going there to work in Saudi Arabia, in whatever, shut it down.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Shut it down. Well, Ruto has issues. I mean, he kills it. He shoots at his own people. He sends them into slavery. This president has got some issues. You guys got to really look in. He's got to go. He's absolutely got to go. But anyone who allows the stuff that we're hearing, and it was a big thing about Qatar having the World Cup, and and it was a big thing about that, and you know that they would not do right, and they didn't. They did whatever they wanted to do, and that is why they're really not wanting to have the Olympics over there and nothing like that. But they don't care about humans. It's the saddest thing. These people don't care about humans, and Africans are not free unless Africa is whole, and that's the problem. Africa is not healthy. Until Africa is healthy, you're going to see all around the world we're going to be abused. Because where do you go back to? What do you fall upon? You have a nation that's in chaos. The continent has to be healthy if Africans are going to have a foothold in the world. Don't you think?
Of course, a
That is,
healthy, Africa will never be respected. Sorry, Africans in
that's
the
the truth.
diaspora will never be. Africans in the diaspora will never be respected if Africa is not respected. If Africa is
That's
not
it.
held to where it's supposed to be. When I say
Exactly.
that we need to get back to our greatness, somebody was asking me when have you ever been great? And I was telling you, well,
What?
don't you know what happened? Don't you know we are the bedrock of civilization? Don't you know we built a pyramid? Don't you know we had Mansa Musa? Don't, don't you know we had all these all these empires? Don't you know that we, the Sun people, we civilized the Ice people, i.e.,
Yeah.
aka the white man and the white woman. We
The
civilized
Moors
them.
civilized
We
them.
we we we
Absolutely.
we, we, we we taught them whatever they know. We taught
The
them, and we
Egyptians,
also taught them how to wash.
everything.
Yeah, we taught them
Exactly.
how to. We taught them how to. Yeah, because they were eating raw. They were just living. They were eating wild
They were
fruits. They were
savages.
they
They
were
were savages.
and and they
Savages.
were
That's what it is.
they were eating their babies. And then when they came here, we taught them how to cook food, taught them how to season, put spices. We taught them even how to wash their asses. We taught them how to
Yeah.
wash their pale asses. We taught them that, Queen. We taught them how to wash their asses, and they keep on telling us that we're a bunch of dirty Africans. Let me tell you something, Queen. During COVID, they were screening us, and they were really like, you could feel the racism in the airport, because they were like, yo, these Africans have that type, these Africans, we need to screen them, we need to test them, we need to quarantine them. Ooh, these Africans have that, have a premium COVID. They have that premium COVID. And I'm like, do you know how many people have died in Africa versus how many people have died in US for COVID? How many people have died
Yeah.
in Europe because of COVID versus Africa? We should be the ones who screen you and stay in the airport and quarantine you for even 6 months. You
Yeah.
you're the people who have a premium COVID. What are you talking about? Don't come to
Absolutely.
me telling me. Come on, man. I was
That was the
like.
thing. I could not believe the numbers in Africa for it not to have the medical systems and the amount of technology that these Western civilizations had. The numbers were paltry compared to America. Million died in COVID, compared to Britain or England. All of these European countries lost a lot of their population, and Africa was able to stand. They did lose, but not in nowhere where they thought it was. That's why COVID wasn't a success, because they would have loved to see Africa depopulize Africa. That is the number one thing, because it's going to be the most burgeoning population in the world.
It backfired, and it backfired.
Backfired.
Sometimes,
Yep.
I mean, that's how you know that God and the ancestors haven't given up on us. They were like, you leave those Africans alone. They have enough problems, and I have a future for them. So you leave them alone. And like I tell you, we and like, for example, here, and then you find Bill Gates coming. That was the fastest vaccine rollout I've ever seen in my life. Was it like six
They
months?
they
6 months
Yeah, they
later,
wouldn't give you
boom,
guys
vaccine
they
came.
wouldn't give you guys the vaccine. All of these things they tried, and it still didn't work. It still didn't work. Everything they tried,
Then
they didn't. It's ridiculous.
Then there are a couple of there were, I think, three African presidents who died in during COVID time, and all of them had one thing in common. All of them rejected the COVID vaccine.
Bam.
So, and one of them was Magufuli from Tanzania, who was one of my, if not, to me, let me say, like, Magufuli was my best president I've ever seen since I was born in the year 2000, June 10th. Since I was born in the year 2000, June 10th, I haven't seen a president that is better than John Pombe Magufuli from Tanzania. And then now, of course, there is Traore. So Traore has overtaken Magufuli. So, but when
was like, before they
Traore,
suggested that vaccine for him. I really think they got rid of him. They suggested that vaccine for him, and he did not make it.
Before Traore, let me just say this: before Traore, Magufuli was my number one guy here in Africa, and of course, you know, they killed him. They killed him. Yeah,
they killed him. Yeah, and so you have to watch, you know, with these vaccines and the things. Be careful of putting stuff in your bloodline, inside of your body, because it's all poison. It's poison. And now that, you know, we're having things in America of how the percentages that's died from the vaccine. It was not a successful vaccination for this country neither. But they won't talk about that. But it is known that vaccine was not good. From Pfizer, Moderna, that was one of the worst. So we just have to be very mindful and vigilant about anything that's going on in the world. But we really, really got to find a way to come together. If we don't unite, they're going to pick us apart. That's just what it is. I'm listening. I'm looking here in the States, and the Africans that are here are attacking the African Americans, talking about I'm looking at the comments. Your neighborhoods, you live in a hood, you're all drug addicts. These are Africans talking to African Americans. It's very disappointing.
You know what? Let me speak to that. And let me speak to that. Like, as a person who has relatives in America, a few of them, and a few in Europe as well. I know very well, like very well. This is what white supremacy. White supremacy. This is what white people tell Africans when they come to America or when they come to Europe. You stay away from those niggas. They're drug dealers. All they do, you know, they're lazy. They don't work. They engage in crime and all that nonsense. And they generalize it and they make it look like it's every single black person. And so, like, when you come, that's what they tell you. Boom. And Africans tend to, because me, if you tell me, I wouldn't believe that shit, because I know my people. I know my people everywhere. But there are many people who don't have a Pan-African mindset like me. So they will go and believe that type of shit. Do you know who also tells them as well, Queen? Do you know who also tells them as well?
Who?
African parents. I know this for a fact. Let me tell you.
Oh, I know that for a fact. I know that for a fact. I have Nigerian godkids. I know that for a fact, that they talk very terrible about African Americans, Black Americans. They do not want their kids to even mix with us. It's really sad. It's awful.
Yes.
It's awful.
African parents, and not all. And let me not generalize the way these tribalists are doing. I am talking about the people who are engaging in this beef. The people who don't believe in the unity of Africans and African Americans. I'm talking to you guys now. Some of them, the parents tell them, hey, where usikae nao wa Afrika huko, usikae nao, leave them alone. Hao ni wabaya, and they'll lead you to crime, they'll lead you to, so, okay, let me translate. Don't stay with those black people there. Weka na wazungu.
No boyfriend, no girlfriend, nothing. Don't have nothing
when they
to deal
tell
with
you,
them.
Yeah, they tell you weka na wazungu, achana nao, achana nao.
Yeah.
Translating it means you stay with those white people. Stay with those white people. Leave the black ones. They will lead you astray. That's what they do. I know this for a fact. I know many people who are being told like that by their parents. And I'd like to tell them, and I'd like to tell them, especially the African students in America, I'd like to tell them, you leave them alone. Don't even listen to that type of crap. You go there, interact with all black people that you find there. Interact with them. Respect their culture. Because I also heard a continental African saying that African Americans don't have a culture. And that's a bunch of crap. Hip hop is a culture. Soul food is culture. Like black culture.
The hood is culture. We do things in our community that no one does. I mean, our communities, our neighborhoods, we break it down the hood, and then they want to make it so bad. But our hoods are culture. The way that we walk, the way that we talk, the way we move, our cookouts is culture. The way that we communicate, we break down language is culture. It's us, and everybody wants it until they got to get the other part of it.
And so respect their culture. You can even, respect it, adore it, adapt it, just respect it while you're there, because at the end of the day, African American culture is now a part of African culture. Because if you have been together for over 400 years, you obviously have to make your own culture away from Africa. So when you're there, respect it, love it, adore it. And then you, African Americans who are hating on Africans, respect African culture, because that's where you come from. That's where you come from. Don't, so this goes on both sides. Africans respect African American culture because we love it. We even adore it, and we even adapt it here in Africa through our African hip hop, through, so respect. So Africans respect African American culture.
Yeah.
African Americans respect African culture. African Americans respect African culture because that's where you come from ultimately and ancestrally and originally. And let's find a way on how we can coexist.
Unfortunately, Arena, a lot of us do not even respect that we're from Africa. We have issues, and it's being acculturated and being a part of the system. We have issues too. We say that we weren't born in Africa. We're not Africans. All of this BS that doesn't make sense. Like, because you're here now, you're American, and you're dying in the streets. You're not empowered in this country, but you would embrace this country, and you want to embrace where you come from. And the first thing I hear African Americans say about Africans, they don't like us. See, these thoughts we have, it's just awful. We got to look at a way to look past our differences and find a way to coalesce. That's just what it is, and we have to unite.
What do you mean they don't like us? I mean, Queen, I like you.
Say it all the time.
Come on.
I love you. Listen, I love you, but I'm telling you, we are in a different movement that we can connect, and we're not in the same country, that we can talk, we can build together, we can create. This is not regular. That is why we have to be able to show that this can happen. It can happen, but we do not think it can happen because of the fact that we've all bought into Western culture and Western alternatives of how we are. But we're Africans. And until we embrace that, the mother needs us and we need the mother. So we got to unite around our Africanness. That's our connection. We have no connection with these white people. What is the connection? We don't have any, but we rather be adjacent to them than to seek out spaces with our own people and try to have some type of dialogue. It's awful, but it is what it is. And we have to work at it, just like you guys got to work. It's a lot of work in this. This is a big conversation. The connection between Black American, as you guys don't call us African Americans, you call us Black Americans. So the Black Americans and the African. And just that Black American thing starts with separation. That comes from a Eurocentric thought, because there's no other American that Africans call by color. Africans don't call Chinese yellow Americans. They don't call Arab Americans Arab Americans. They don't call Indian Americans beige Americans. They don't call anybody else but us by our color. That is another Eurocentric issue. We got to look at how we address each other. We got to look at how we think about each other, because the things that I hear that come out of Africa comes from a Eurocentric model, and the way that we approach things come from a Eurocentric model. We got to peel back these I would call them chains on our mindsets, and even what comes out of our mouth has to change. Because I've heard people talk about Africans in a very nasty way. Them dirty people, or them Black Africans. It's awful. It's awful.
Yeah. Well, that's where you came from. So at the end of the day, they can say anything you want, but that's where you can. And you know one thing, Queen. Some of these FBA people are like, they're like, you know what? No, I'm not African. I am Native American. I'm not African. I'm like, I am 50% Native American.
Native American. Okay,
fine.
I don't want to hear that.
And then,
Africans were here first, and they became native to America. The first people on this North America was Africans. Native Americans. But, it's just what it is.
But and then they also tell you, oh, we were here before slavery, which is very true. You were here before slavery. Some of you, some of you African Americans. Exactly. Some of you African Americans came through slavery, and some of you came way before slavery, which is very true. But now let me ask you a question. Where did you come from? Where did you come from? While you are making your way to America, where did you come from? Why do they ignore that? So fine. You were here before the white man. You were in America before the white man. That is absolutely true. But where did you come from? When you're on your way to America, why do you ignore that? And another thing. Wait. Let me make this point, Queen. Another thing is, so, okay, you say you are Native American. So some of you African Americans say, no, I'm not African, I'm Native American. Oh, okay. Now let me ask you a question. Do you know that some Native Americans owned slaves?
Yep.
So wait, let me get this straight. So let me get this straight. You keep on defecating on Africans, and now I'm talking to FBA. I'm talking to that weird FBA group. You keep on defecating on Africans. You keep on defecating on Africans because you say Africans sold us into slavery.
Yeah.
Which is a huge exaggeration of the whole thing. Yes, it happened, but it didn't happen in a large scale. But that's a story for another day. But let's go by your rationale. You're saying that Africans sold you into slavery.
Yes.
And then you're the same person who says that you're Native American, but you keep on ignoring that also many Native Americans owned slaves. So where do you stand by that? Where do you stand by that? Tell me. So how does that make sense? You claim that you're Native American, and you ignore that Native Americans own slaves as well. But you say that Africans sold you to slavery, so you denounce your Africanness.
Yeah.
Tell me how that makes sense. All this stupid beef needs to stop. It needs to stop, Queen. It needs to stop. White supremacy is happy when this happens, because now, let me tell you something. Like now, this is there are many stages of white supremacy. During the beginning of slavery, and so shortly before slavery, and actually, yeah, shortly before slavery and slavery all through. That was the forming the foundation of white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Then they realized, man, we can't enslave these Africans for long. So let's free them, okay? But let's give them partial freedom, not full freedom, partial freedom. So at first it was the foundation of white supremacy. Then after slavery, during Jim Crow and everything, it was so now these black people are free. How do we enslave them without putting them in cotton fields, without putting them in sugarcane plantations? How do we do that? And then we moved from that Reconstruction, Jim Crow, all the way to civil rights. So now they're like, okay, now these black people are tired and they really want their freedom. Okay, so let's give them freedom, but again, we will give them partial freedom. Let's give them the Civil Rights Act, which is partial freedom. And you know what? Because also these Africans, these black people are in these black schools, are in these black institutions, inventing things. These kids are out here inventing, and they're not even being taught by us white teachers. Black people were prospering and they were doing well on their own before civil rights. So they're like, you know what? No, 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 no. These black people cannot invent all these things. They can't speak English even better than us. They can't, they can't be learned more than us. Let us integrate.
They had communities with structures. They had communities, they had structures, they had education. They took care of themselves within themselves. They didn't need any white folks, and they came and destroyed it.
So they said, let us integrate with them so that we can destroy them from within. We don't have to go through offense. We can destroy them from within. And that's exactly what happened. Where are those black schools now? Where are those black Wall Streets now? Where are those black institutions now?
Well, they destroyed them, but they integrated for money. They understood that they needed the only way to get the money. They had to destroy. They destroyed the communities, and then they brought the money into their system, and that's what built the system. And destruction for us was built into the system, was baked in. So all they had to do was get us away from our own structures. That's why integration was so important, because segregation, we were able to build our own communities, and they came and destroyed those communities. And what they didn't destroy, they demonized. So if they didn't destroy it, they demonized, and we felt that it was better to be adjacent to whiteness, to go to their schools, to eat their food, to do everything that they manufacture. So we lost our autonomous lifestyles and being self-sufficient because we wanted to be a part and adjacent to Europeans. And it's never worked for us. Never. It has never worked.
It has never worked. It has never worked, and it will never work. Integration, and that's what I'm saying actually. Integration diluted black excellence. Let me say that again. Integration diluted black excellence. Black excellence was like, it was building. It was building. Now. So they said, you know what? Let's pass the civil rights bill.
Can I say something before you say that? And when integration came, we lost 90% of our black teachers because they brought in white teachers and white women. And today, still, the legacy that is still present. 80% of the teachers of in this country are white women. We lost all of those teaching jobs. We should teach all of our kids. We had all of that ended when the day integration came in. So we lost our educators. We lost so much movement when it comes to the way that we think and the way that we steer ourselves in our own Africanness, because we didn't teach our children anymore. They brought in white teachers immediately. So that was one of the biggest things that happened with integration.
Dilution. They diluted everything. Now, civil rights bill passed. And now there's integration. Black people are now in white schools, are working in white institutions, are working with white people and everything, and that killed. Now let's come to Africa now. Yeah, in Africa, but let me say this. Let me say this though. They wanted integration to happen, and they wanted the civil rights bill to be passed so that they can, number one, dilute black excellence. And then number
Yeah.
two, they said by the time 1970 reaches, we should wipe out all these black leaders, all of them, wipe them clean. And that's exactly what happened. By the time 1970 reached, Malcolm was murdered, Medgar Evers was murdered, Dr. King murdered, Fred Hampton murdered, Patrice Lumumba murdered. Who else here in Africa? I'm forgetting. Like and many other African leaders and African diasporan leaders who were the stars of African freedom struggle. All of them were murdered. You know why? Because in 1970 is when they in 1970 is when they decided to shift the agenda from the black agenda to LGBT and feminism agenda, which is why the feminism agenda and the LGBT agendas started catching heat in the early 70s and late 70s. Now, you know why? Because Dr. King and Malcolm and all this, like, to me, the 60s was the most black decade of all time. We have never done what the 60s did. The 60s was a period where black people were serious and black people believed in, and you know, these FBA people keep on claiming Dr. King. Dr. King was a Pan-African. I mean, Dr. King was working closely with Kwame Nkrumah, Kwame Nkrumah from Ghana, Tom Mboya from Kenya. You know, and there's even a speech where Tom Mboya and Dr. King were in the same rally. And Tom Mboya and Dr. King were speaking in the same language, and they were saying that we should unite as a global African race. That's what they said. And even Dr. King said we have one common enemy. So these FBA people keep on claiming Dr. King every time, Dr. King, Dr. King, Dr. King. But do you know that Dr. King believed in Pan-Africanism? So they killed all these leaders so they can shift, because you don't understand, like Dr. King really kept the black agenda intact for like a decade, plus other freedom struggle leaders in the 60s. The 60s was the most progressive era we have ever had. And the 60s was
I agree. That's when they killed Malcolm, Mega,
and to me,
and Martin, all at 39.
yeah,
They didn't even make it to 40. Each of them died at 39, and there's a reason for that. Everything they do is for something. And they got rid of them. All of them were gone before 1970. You're correct. They ushered in a whole new movement in 1970, and we haven't been able to recover since then. You there? So he's frozen. But you know, he's talking about the 1960s. He's talking about the leaders that we had, even in Africa. He's talking about the relationships that Martin had, the relationships that Malcolm had, serious relationships too. But it all cut off before 1970. 1970 ushered into a new attack, and they had us almost by the balls because we had no institutions. You cannot be strong without institutions. Yeah. You got to have your own institutions, and we lost those with integration. And Africa was weak with coming out of their colonialization and trying to fight the other Western hands who had colonized Europe. I mean Africa. So we had a weak Africa and a very weak African American. And that's what we're today still trying to fight out of this hole. And now they got us fighting each other. We got to do better, yo. We got to do better.
Yeah, we have to do better. And we need to recognize the tricks. White supremacy should be taught in schools as a subject, because what they've done to us is crazy. So that's why in the 70s, they rolled out a new agenda. They say the 60s is too much black talk. You know, J. Edgar Hoover and all these boys, too much black. There was too much black power, too much black talk, too much black talk. I mean, the 60s, too much blackness in the 60s. So let's kill them all, and in the new in the new decade of the 70s, let's roll out other agendas that will dilute the black agenda, and that's exactly what happened. And we've never gone back ever since. Ever since, we have never gone back to a decade where we can say that this decade, since the 60s, we have never said that this decade is a black decade. We have never seen it, and we need to get back to that. We need to get back to that. So, Queen, as we wind up, I'd like to just give out a message and say to all to Africans, to African Americans, don't fall for this nonsense. Don't fall for this stupidity. Don't fall for this beef that is being sponsored by white supremacy in form of bots, in form of AI, to poison our algorithms and to basically use tech to divide us. They were using, Willie Lynch, and now they're using tech. It's amazing how it is. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Notice what they're doing, guys. We are too emotional. The thing about black people is that we are too emotional. We are never mental. Anything that happens, you need to look at it from a mental standpoint, not from an emotional standpoint. And Africans who are in America, please, please, please respect the culture. Don't talk behind their backs. Don't listen to white people. Don't listen to your African parents who poison your minds about African Americans. Interact with them, love them, and respect their culture. African Americans, don't talk bad about Africans, because that's where you come from. Don't talk ill about African culture. That's where you come from. Don't boycott African businesses, because at the end of the day, you never boycott Popeyes, you never boycott McDonald's, you never boycott KFC, you never boycott Applebee's, you never boycott Taco Bell, you never boycott whatever. You never boycott all these. All these fast food white restaurants. You never boycott all these Italian restaurants. You never boycott all of them. And all they've been doing is pumping toxins and pumping chemicals in the black community, pumping diabetes, pumping high blood pressure, pumping diabetes, pumping obesity in the black community. You have never ever boycotted them, but you're boycotting the few African businesses. You're boycotting the few. You should be ashamed of yourself. Let's unite as a global African. Let's unite as a global African race.
That is so true. You're right.
That's my last word.
In our community, it's so toxic, though, brother. We got the toxic, and our education is toxic. The food we eat is toxic. Our environments are toxic. They make our neighborhoods toxic. We live in such a cesspool of chaos and toxicity as African Americans that is very hard for us to get past our trauma. But we got to break these trauma bonds. We absolutely got, and we cannot be boycotting nothing that's African. What I say is anything African, when we're talking about Africa, Africans, we talk bad or whatever between each other. We never do that in front of other people. That is not, it's just like when you in your house, your mom, everything stays in the house, or you never talk about your family bad. You only talk with your family about your family. You know what I mean? That's how the African has to. We have to heal from within. We cannot heal from outside in. Nobody wants us to be great because they know once we come together, everybody's extinct, baby. We have to find a way. So, we kind of laid out quickly today because we wanted to hit it hard today. But listen, the basis premise is on the screen. Africans and African Americans must unite. That's the premise. That's it. It's nothing else we can do. All over the country, and African Americans, Africans, Central American Africans, South American Africans, Caribbean Africans, Brazilian, all Africans, the whole diaspora and Africans must unite. That's the only way we're going to go forward. We are the majority population in the world. We're not leveraging who we are. We're fighting amongst each other. Stop it. We got to stop. So that's it, bro. That's it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. Next week we need to, Queen. Let me tell you, if there's a week I'm waiting for is next Monday, because I can't wait to talk about the Arabian racism and Arabian oppression that's going on right now. It's crazy.
Okay, that's what we're gonna talk. Okay, topic next week is what?
The
Arabian,
racism.
discrimination.
Yeah,
Arabian
racism in the Middle East.
And you know what's so scary? Before I want to kind of preempt that is we're talking about a place that was renamed by a white man, a place that they built the Suez Canal and disconnected land from Africa. I mean, we could talk about how this place was derived again by the same people that has us fighting each other, and we have the nerve to oppress each other. You get what I'm saying? It don't make sense. The Middle East, there's no such thing. They renamed that to the Middle East. No such thing. So we gotta find a way to unite. But next week, guys, next Monday, the 11th, I think it's the 11th, we racism in the Middle East, right?
Yes.
So hit us up next Monday, guys. We'll be here 2 p.m. in the States, Eastern Standard Time, and 9 p.m. in Kenya, wherever you are. From 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, wherever time it is, and wherever you are, South America, Brazil, I don't care where you are, Japan, we all over the world. Tune in to Make It Make Sense Mondays. We are bringing content that is it is for the diaspora. It's not just for Africans. It's not just for African Americans. It's for all of us. We all have a shared problem, and it's white supremacy all over the world. All right, we out today. Y'all know we don't do peace. We do power.